Hey guys, great to be back with you all again today. We're going to be talking about equivalent fractions, and the specific skill we're going to talk about is 3.3F, and that's to represent equivalent fractions with denominators of 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 using a variety of objects and pictorial models, including number lines. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to say, I can model equivalent fractions. Let's look at a little bit of vocabulary. Vocabulary for fraction, numerator, and that's the top number on our fraction. That's above the fraction bar right here. And usually it's going to be the number that's shaded or the part that's being counted. And the denominator, that's the number below the fraction bar, and that's the total number of equal parts represented that represent a whole. So they have to be equal parts, and that's how many parts it takes to make the whole. So this would be broken into 3 equal parts, which would represent, if you had 3/3, that'd represent 1 whole. Okay, we have one of Aaron's videos talking about one of the STAAR questions from 2017. It's question number 20. It's about representing equivalent fractions. And then I made a video right here about how to model equivalent fractions on a number or on a fraction bars or strip diagrams. And I went through there and listed all the fractions that are equal that we work with in 3rd grade. So that should be very helpful in answering any questions dealing with equivalent fractions. Let's get ready and watch the videos.
Today we are looking at the 3rd grade concept of representing equivalent fractions, standard 3.3F in the great state of Texas, and we will be using item number 20 of the 2017 release STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and take a moment to pause this video, work out the problem on your own, and then unpause it. We will check our answers together. So we have Eddie, and he is marking this fraction 3/4 right here with the star on the number line shown. And then we have 3 or 4 different options, but 3 are the only ones that are really close, F, G, H, and J, as to which one will be equivalent to 3/4. So first, let's make sure we understand what equivalent means. And so equivalent, when you look at it, you can see it actually has the word equal inside there, E-Q-U-A-L. So we're looking for an equal fraction. And when we're looking at a fraction, we have 2 parts of the fraction that we're looking for. The numerator, that's the top part, and that is the going to be, in this case, sometimes it's the shaded pieces if you're drawing circles or squares or whatnot. But in this case, the numerator is going to be the position of the star over the tick mark. So in this first one, it's in 1, 2, 3. So it's this 3rd position after the 0. So the first one is going to be 3. And then the denominator is going to be the total spaces, the total number of spaces that you have between the 0 and the 1. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So that's why this fraction is 3/4 or 3/4. So we need to find another fraction that is equal to that, but you notice the denominator is going to be different in each of them. That's a 4th. We've got 6ths, 8ths, 8ths, and 6ths. And if you notice that this number line is smaller and a little bit offset to the other 4 number lines. If it wasn't, it'd be really easy to just kind of look to see which one is lined up. Right now, it looks like the star is kind of lined up with this one, a little bit past it, but you see the number line's a lot smaller. The zeros do not start in the same spot, so you can't really use the eyeball test to see which one looks to be straight. The one that looks like it doesn't really work is going to be this 3/6, because if you notice 3/6, there's 3 spots over here, 3 spots over here. So that means it's halfway through, and this is definitely not halfway through. If I wanted to do halfway through up here on my 4ths, I would be using maybe 2 spots and then 2 spots. So if I wanted to do half, 2/4 would work with 1/2 and 3/6, but not 3/4. So we can get rid of that one. For this other one, you notice the answers are very, very similar. We got 7/8, 6/8, and 5/6. So here's one thing that we can do to try to solve this. So let's draw a good 3/4. I'm going to draw a circle. We're just going to kind of use this test right here. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to make it as neat and as even as we can. We're going to draw 3. There's my 3/4. I know that this first one is not going to work. We'll look at it down here, 3/4 and 3/6. The reason I know it doesn't work is because we have the same numerator. So I have 3 pieces here, 3 pieces here, but my denominators are different. This is 4 pieces, which means the pieces are kind of large. This is 6 pieces, which means they're smaller. So we can go ahead and get rid of F without even drawing a picture. Let's look at 7/8. So we're going to draw 7/8 here. The way we're going to make 8ths is going to be just like we make 4ths. And then we're going to, before we start coloring it in, we're going to draw some more lines right there. I've got 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks pretty good. And then 7 is just 1 too many. But that does make me think that my 6/8 is going to work. And it is going to work. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/8. That is going to be my answer.
Okay, we're going to be working with equivalent fractions today, and I'm going to use a strip diagram to represent equivalent fractions. So I'm going to start off making my strip. It's going to be 24 blocks long, because in 3rd grade, all the denominators that we have are all multiples of 24. So that's the reason I'm going to use 24 in my grids right there. And the first one I'll represent is a half, and half of 24 is 12. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is 1/2. So this side is 1/2, and that is 1/2, and they both equal 2 halves. So the next strip that I make, I'm going to break it into thirds. I know 24 divided by 3 is 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me start over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's going to be my first third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's my second third, and my third third's over here. So this is 1/3. It's 1/3. And that's 1/3, and all of them together equals 3/3 or 1 whole. The next denominator we work with in 3rd grade is going to be 4ths. And since 4 is an even number, I know I'm automatically going to have one that lines up with a half, so I'll go ahead and put my line right down there. And I know 24 divided by 4 is 6, so I'll count over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That should give me 6 right there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I should have 6 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is 1/4. That's 1/4. That's 1/4. And that is 1/4. And altogether, that is 4/4 or 1 whole. The next one we're going to work with is 6. And since 6 is an even number, I know I'm going to have, one of my 6 is going to be equal to 1/2, so I'm going to put that mark right there. And we already did 24 divided by 4 is 6, so I know the another fact family that goes along with that is 24 divided by 6 would be 4. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Already have 4 there to my half. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I should have 4 left. Each one of those represents 1/6. That's 1/6. That's 1/6. That's my 3rd sixth, which is equal to half. And my 6th sixth, which equals 1 whole. And the last fraction or denominator that we work with in 3rd grade are eighths. So eighths an even number, I know that's going to equal half. Okay, another thing I know is I'm going to have, that one's going to line up with a 4th, and that one's going to line up with a 4th. So basically I got to cut each one of those in halves. Or 21 divided by 8 is 3, because 21 divided by 3 was 8. So I count over 3, 1, 2, 3. Then another 3. Another 3. And another 3. That should be 8 equal sections. It's 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. That's my 4th eighth, which was a half. And my 8th eighth equals 1 whole. Now we're going to go through here and talk about the ones that are equivalent fractions. And we could go through here and easily list all the fractions that are equal on this number line, and I'm going to shade in some that I find that are equal. Okay, the first one I'm going to shade in is 1/4. If I bring that straight down right here, if I bring that straight down, I'm going to see that 2/8 is equal to 1/4 because they line up exactly. They go exactly the same distance. So I'm going to write that comparison down. So 1/4 is equal to 2/8. That's the first one we're going to do. Next one I'm going to do, I'm going to do 1/3. So I got 1/3. It's kind of a little bit of a greenish yellow. And I see that that lines up exactly with 2/6. They're equal because they're the same, they line up with each other. I have the same equal size strips, so I can say that 1/3 is equal to 2/6. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about, okay, is we're going to talk about a half. Get a different color for a half. We'll go with pink. And we have a lot of things that are equivalent to a half because if you look, there's a lot of them that line up with each other. I'm going to color all the ones pink that line up with each other. So first off, I have 1/2. Okay, none of my thirds line up, so because third's an odd number, but I do see that 2/4 lines up with a half. I see that 3/6 lines up with a half. And I also see that 4/8 line up with a half. Right there. So I've got 1/2, 2/4, 3/6, and 4/8 are all equivalent. So I'll just write them all together. So that's 1/2 is equal to 2/4, which is equal to 3/6, which is also equal to 4/8, and they're all equal to each other. So the next thing we're going to look at, get a different color here, a little bit darker color. Got a scarlet right here. So the next ones that I see that line up with each other is going to look like this line right here lines up with each other, which is 2/3 and 4/6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 1 2/3 are equal to each other. So I'll write that comparison down. So 2/3 is equal to 4/6. And the next one we'll talk about, I'll get a little bit darker color, we'll go blue. Okay, and I'm going to look at 3/4. Looks like it lines up exactly with that 1/8 right there, which is 6/8. So we can say that 3/4 is equal to 6/8. So 3/4 is equal to 6/8. And the very last one that we'll do in purple. And right here, they're all going to line up. So 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, 6/6, and 8/8, and that all equals 1 whole. And that is a fraction. So color it all the way in. Paste color my whole thing purple. We can write that down also. We can say that 2/2 is equal to 3/3, which is equal to 4/4, which is equal to 6/6, which is equal to 8/8, and that all equals 1 whole. So those are all improper fractions because my numerator is not smaller than my denominator. And whenever I have an improper fraction, I know I'm dealing with at least 1 whole there. So these are all the fractions that we work with in 3rd grade. So if you can basically visualize this, practice drawing your strip diagram, these are all the equivalent fractions that we'll deal with in 3rd grade. So that's the end of that. Okay, let's go ahead and work on some guided practice problems. Follow along as I read. It says, model of fraction D, E, and F are shown below. So we got fractions on a number line here. It says, which fractions are equivalent? So basically, we need to go ahead and figure out what fractions those are. So what does D represent? What fraction does D represent? Okay, let's check it. Okay, and I know that number lines are probably one of the more confusing things I see 3rd graders work on. So it makes sense to me to make them into strip diagrams because they do so much, or y'all do so much better at strip diagrams than you do number lines, and a little bit more of a concrete model that you're working with then. So I'm going to go ahead, turn it into a strip diagram. And you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts. So it's broken into 8 equal parts, so the denominator would be 8. And I would end up shading in all the way up to D right there. And there'd be 1 shaded part, so that would represent 1/8. What fraction does E represent? Okay, we'll do the same thing. We'll just go ahead and extend our strip all the way up to our other number line there. And it looks like that one is broken into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So my denominator will be 4. And I would shade in all the way up to the E right there. And that would be 1/4. What fraction does F represent on that number line? Okay, I'll do the same thing. We'll go ahead, we'll just extend up to the other number line. and then I would shade in to the dot on the number line. And that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. So the denominator would be 6. Oh, fraction bar. But the denominator would be 6. And I have 1 shaded in, so that'd be 1/6. So let's go ahead and go through our answer choices and put true and false statements beside them. Answer choice A, fractions D and E only are equivalent, is what they're saying. True or false? So D and E, it looks like D and E are not the same length, so that would be a false statement. Answer choice B, fractions D and F only. Okay, when I look at that one, they look kind of close, but they are not equivalent. I'd have to say that the sixths are bigger than the eighths, so 1/6 would be larger than 1/8, so that'd be a false statement. Answer choice C, none are equivalent. Okay, let's look at that. We said that F and D are not equal, and E is not equal to either one of them, so that does look like a true statement. None of them appear to be equivalent because they all have the same numerator but different denominators, so that means the pieces are going to be different sizes. And answer choice D, all 3 fractions are equivalent, true or false? And that is definitely a false statement. Our correct answer would be answer choice C, none are equivalent. Okay, let's go and look at question number 2. Follow along as I read. It says, Faith wants to show that 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. Which pair of templates can Faith use to show this? So we have basically 4 different templates. Here, there's 2 under each answer choice right there. So we'll go through there and make a decision on which one is broken into 6 equal parts and 3 equal parts. So we want the template that's broken into 6 equal parts and 3 equal parts. So is answer choice F broken into 3 equal parts and 6 equal parts? Okay, well, let's look. So it looks like that's broken into 1, 2, 3 equal parts, and this is broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. So that would be false. Cannot use that one. G, how many equal parts, or is G broken into thirds and sixths? Okay, well, let's check it out. Looks like this is broken into 2 equal parts. And this is broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. So the first part would make it false statement. Okay, answer choice H. Is answer choice H broken into thirds and sixths? Okay, let's check it out and see. That is broken into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. And this is broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 equal parts. So this looks like a true statement. And we're still going to check the last one. Is answer choice J broken into thirds and sixths? Okay, we can see it's broken into 3 parts, but they are not equal. It doesn't look like these 2 may be equal to each other. This one and this one, but this third one is not equivalent. So that would make this a false statement also. So the one that you would use is H. Okay, it's time again to complete your independent practice. Take your time, do your very best. I'm going to put something in there for you to print out and do it on pencil and paper. Typically, y'all do better when you work it out on pencil and paper. But, you know, do your very best. Take your time. If you have any questions about anything, please send your teacher an email or a message in Schoology. And like I said, take your time, do your very best, and best of luck to you. We'll talk to you later.